I know it goes against your teachings, but I've been anticipating this moment if it ever happened. And actually, the last question kind of helped me transition into my question. First of all, I want to thank you for the healing that's happened in my life and the people that I come in contact with because of your teachings. It means the world to me. Practice in presence has changed my life, as I've said, but there's still an area that I seem to struggle. I have a very physical, demanding job in construction, and I have 6 children and a beautiful wife, in which this is our honeymoon that we postponed to celebrate this time together.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you.
The dangers of my job and physical challenges, I try to turn it into a spiritual practice with presence continuously. However, after a 12 to 14-hour day, when I get home to my wife and 6 children, physically I am drained. And it's very difficult for me to continue practice and presence with my family, who means the most to me. Can you share some wisdom on how to continuously practice presence when physically exhausted?
Right. Now, of course, on a purely practical level, there are things you can do when you arrive home and you know that you're exhausted, so that you are not become unconscious. I don't know whether what you're saying implies that when you arrive home, you begin to behave in a somewhat unconscious way towards your children or your wife. Does it imply that?
Well, it's more that my mind is saying you need to rest right now, and therefore I can become unconscious if I don't feel that that's appreciated.
Right. Well, on a practical level, you take necessary steps to recover. Perhaps you can have some kind of ritual, I don't know what. You take a shower or lie in the bathtub or whatever it is, or go out into nature, practice a little bit of breathing while you lie on the grass or under a tree.
Or listen to Eckhart.
Yeah, not a bad idea. And so know that this is always a critical moment when it's a challenging moment, and your family knows it too. You can tell your wife and your children, if they're old enough to know what you're talking about, that if you behave in a way that is you would not normally behave, you say something that's not in anger or irritation because you're physically depleted, it can't be present. You could give them permission to point it out to you. And then when it happens, then even in the physically weak, depleted state, you may find that you are actually able to still be not perhaps as acutely present, but you may find in the background there can still be a present even then. This is an interesting question that perhaps many people can relate to in their personal lives, and that is when you get tired or you've been working very hard. It is easier to be taken over by either certain thoughts or certain moods or emotions because there's less alertness. And so often people become irritated after a long day at work. They can't take anymore and they become irritated. If you know beforehand that this is going to be a critical time when you get home, you can have some alertness and make that your spiritual practice, that even while you are physically depleted, there can still be an awareness in the background. In addition to taking practical steps of perhaps breathe for 10 minutes out in nature, so to get the energy moving in a calm way, breathe into the belly. feel the energy spreading from the belly into the rest of the body, and then energy can quickly come back to some extent, not as much as in the morning perhaps, but it is. So there's the practical steps you can do for regenerating, and then there's the other steps is knowing that this is a time when you need to be doubly careful, present, and give your children especially your wife permission to say that I know you're tired and you're losing awareness right now, and let's see how that works, or just a little. Or just a little sign that only she knows about, whatever you want to, a little sign, and then that could bring you back into presence. If you get angry after giving her permission beforehand, and if the next day she does it and you get angry, that means you're really not present. And that's good to know too, because then you can give her permission to say you're really not present.
Thank you.
Thank you.